Hi everyone, my name is Lars Kode, and I have the enviable job of being International Brand Ambassador for the Danish spirits adventure behind Ahorizo. Congratulations on having your very own Ahorizo tasting kit. You can enjoy your Ahorizo tasting when and where it suits you, no matter whether you are alone or in good company. You have opened your taster box and all the instructions, and now I'm ready to tell you everything about this small treasure chest and its content. You have bought a taster set with 8 samples. But what now? Aren't there 9 bottles? Indeed there are. Is that a mistake? By no means. We are just so happy to have you on board, so we have included a small surprise besides the 8 bottles we'll be tasting. You can enjoy whenever you feel like it. 9 bottles in total, all clearly labeled and filled with 2 cl of the finest spirits you can imagine. You can drink it straight out of the bottle, but that would be a pity. The centerpiece of our taster box is therefore a beautiful taster glass. However, that is not all. Inside the box, you will also find 9 coasters with taste notes and space for you to add your own assessment. And finally, it would be a really good idea to have some water within reach. You can drink some water to cleanse your palate between each drink. And you can also, with a steady hand or a pipette, add a drop or 2 to the glass. When the spirits from Ahorizo has been confined in a bottle for a while, it can be a good idea to open your drink with a single drop of water. You can actually use a straw, as I do here. Remember that it is much easier to add water to your Riise than removing it again. You are not meant to dilute it, just open it. Welcome. Allow me to show you what you'll find in your taster box. I think you might agree that the most important things are the small tempting bottles. The bottles each contain 2 cl of golden drops. The bottles have a size that matches their content. Air is the enemy in a bottle of spirits, since it takes away taste and not the least alcohol from the precious drink. As little air as possible, that is rule number 1. In the middle of your taster box, you will find a glass that is perfect for tasting the individual bottles. The glass is tulip shaped, with an opening that is a bit narrower than the bottom of the glass. The shape of the glass allows the aroma to gather exactly where you place the tip of your nose, so that you get a concentrated sense of the smell. The glass is clear and transparent. Without impurities, this allows you to inspect the color when you hold the glass against the light. Without getting confused by the color of the glass. Ideally, you should have a glass for each of the bottles. But if you sit at home, you can supplement with more glasses. This might be taster glasses of varying types, or maybe a brandy glass. The only thing you have to remember is that the glasses must be small, clear and tulip shaped. Strong spirits tend to be a bit closed on the nose straight out of the bottle. A single drop of water can help open up the golden drops. This will give you the full taste sensation and aroma. We are talking about a single drop and no more than 2. You can use tap water or cheap bottled water. The water is meant to open up the spirits, not add any taste. Remember when you taste. First notice the color. Which must always be clear. Then the sensation on your nose, which you should spend some time on. Whatever you smell it right, no two people sense or smell or taste is the same. What I smell and taste might be entirely different from what you sense in your nose and on your palate. Finally, we move the drink around our mouth before swallowing. And yes, we swallow. This is not a wine tasting, so there will be no spitting. We need to experience the finish, and that is why we swallow. If possible, you should stay away from tobacco, coffee, beer, and soda during the tasting. These might be great to enjoy before and after the tasting, but they will ruin your impression of a good spirits. Now we should be ready to get started. Ahorizo, Royal Danish Navy, 40%. When you called at the port of Charlotte Amalie in the 19th century, you would be greeted by Danish men-of-wars and warships, with open gun ports ready to fire at any newcomer who was there to challenge Danish sovereignty. It was a part of the Danish kingdom, and everything belonged to the Danish king. No one should doubt that. Indeed, no one challenged this notion during the time when the islands were part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Friendly ties were established between the pharmacist and the Danish Navy soon after opening Ahorizo's pharmacy. The ties only grew stronger when a deal was made for Ahorizo to deliver all future supplies of rum. We are proud to see that these ties are still remembered and exist today, although on new terms. On naval ships, rum were not only a luxury for the officers. All on board, from the lowest ranking ship's boy to the captain of the ship, were given a daily measure of rum. The reason for this was that drinking water on board was often bad and undrinkable. So you had no intention of dying of thirst, you would have to drink rum. Someone everyone seemed to be okay with. The blend that is now Ahorizo Royal Danish Navy has a lot of minerals and metallic properties, which we usually associate with pot still rum. However, the Ahorizo touch is very noticeable. Even at the mercy of the waves, Ahorizo makes for a sweet, aromatic acquaintance. The golden nectar has been blended with utmost care. It is made of rum that has been aged in Northern Europe, the West Indies, and in Central America. So what is in your glass? The color of the drink would have to be described as mahogany. Hold the glass against the light to see how it reflects in the glass. Rich nose with licorice, orange zest, coconut and papaya, eucalyptus and mint. A hint of balsamic reduction and black tea. A full-bodied taste with a beautiful balance of citrus, green notes of eucalyptus and mint, and the deep notes of licorice and balsamic reduction. The aftertaste gives us long-lasting with notes of mocha, dark chocolate with orange. Cheers everyone, and enjoy this wonderful spirit drink while I bring you up to the latest news from St. Thomas. If you visit the Danish West Indies today, you will still be able to see many signs of Danish presence in places and street names. You can walk down Kongensgade, Dronningens, Prinsessegade, or visit Frydendal, Louisehøj or Rosendal. The king's monogram can be seen above the entrance of many of the buildings. And you might even meet some people with exotic names like Jensen, Hansen and even Knudsen. Nonplus Ultra, very rare. Nonplus Ultra is Latin, and it means nothing after this. Legend has it that in antiquity the pillars of Hercules stood at the entrance to the Strait of Gibraltar, carrying the words Non Plus Ultra. The intention was to warn seafarers that they were now leaving the known and enlightened world, heading towards the dangerous and unknown, and not the least uncivilized world. In other words, you better turn around now, my friend, if you hold your life dear. Ahorizo uses Nonplus Ultra in the sense nothing after this, meaning nothing better comes after this. We have really made an effort. We have used only the best and oldest casks for this blend. Nonplus Ultra, very rare, looks wonderful in its faceted signature bottle. The bottle only contains Riise spirits. To ensure the perfect level of exclusivity, the bottles is adorned by a photo of Albert Heinrich Riise. Not a lot of pictures can be found of him, since Ahorizo's archives unfortunately went up in flames at the beginning of the 20th century. Nonplus Ultra is a highly curated masterpiece. Before the final blend, the rum has been aged in premium casks. Some have already been blended, others are still in the original cask. We use bourbon, sherry and port casks. Nonplus Ultra, very rare, is made in very small batches. Blending the ultimate drink requires the contribution of the best and the oldest casks. This is why a single batch will only have a few thousand bottles, and the number varies depending on the cask we have at our disposal. So what can we say about this precious drink you have in your glass right now? First, the color. It's a wonderful, intense mahogany. In the nose you get spices and lightly cooling mint, muscovado sugar and orange zest. The taste gives you a creamy palate with the notes from the nose as well as caramel and vanilla. The finish, creamy vanilla and caramel fudge. So should we take a closer look on the container for this wonderful drink? Cheers everyone. This bottle, as well as any other Ahorizo bottle, is a signature bottle. What does that mean? That means that you will never, ever find any alcohol from any other company or label in this sort of bottle. This is exclusively Ahorizo, as you would say in England. It's wonderful and it's covered with a beautiful photo of Albert Heinrich Riise when he was late in his life. A proud, stout man who has the great confidence of a scientist and a rum maker. Nonplus Ultra Black Edition. The moonlight sparkles in the faceted bottle, which is black as a night, and whose content is revealed only by a discreet silver oval. Nonplus Ultra Black Edition, perhaps the most extreme blend to have ever left Ahorizo's sacred vaults. This giant stands firmly on the shoulder of its close relative Nonplus Ultra Very Rare. However, Black Edition takes a quantum leap in the quest to create the perfect blend. In our world, we always use old barrels, or casks as we prefer to call them. A new cask is always burned on the inside before use. The burning makes the cask tight. The charred wood swells, which increases the surface area. The casks used to mature the final blend have been burned for longer than usual. This means that Black Edition can penetrate deeper and come into contact with wood grain that has never been in contact with alcohol before. The casks we use are old bourbon casks. The fresh wood of American oak offers pungent notes of vanilla and makes the final Black Edition truly unique. A spirit drink like no other. So what is the refined and lush experience Nonplus Ultra Black Edition treat us to? The color is a wonderful mahogany. The nose is first and foremost overwhelming without being intrusive. Peach and milk chocolate, butter caramel, the taste is milk chocolate with hints of almonds and orange, very rich and creamy. Towards the end with a hint of tannin. The finish gives you gingerbread with orange glaze. Let's toast and enjoy this image while I give you a bit of bonus info. Cheers. When I was a kid, most older generations enjoy recounting to children and grandchildren how hard it was growing up when they were young. Ahorizo would reportedly use any occasion to talk about his hardship as a young pharmacist apprentice. How he stood in the piercing cold in the pharmacy's yard, cleaning glasses with strong distillates, and how he had to show up long before anyone else to light the stove. However, Ahorizo's hardship did not scare his sons, who both became skilled pharmacists and not the least, world-class rum makers. Ahorizo Founders Reserve. We will now move on to something that is the most sublime spirit drink from Ahorizo. The man we honor with our brand name was born on a late summer's day in 1810. Riise was a curious man who was always looking for something unique, extraordinary, special or undiscovered. Something that no one had seen, tasted or touched before. As pharmacist and spirit distiller extraordinaire on St. Thomas, he laid the foundation for the heritage we do our best to honor today. All the luxurious and elegant bottles we know today are the result of the fantastic craftsmanship that has been passed down the generations and uncompromising quest for superior casks with old rum. Master craftsmen compose bouquets of various impressions, aromas and flavors for the sole purpose of creating a blend that is a reflection of the one that preceded it. Occasionally, you stumble upon small pockets of something utterly extraordinary, something sublime, small treasures that are not easily reproduced on a grand scale. Ahorizo has therefore decided to create Founders Reserve, a small treasure trove consisting of blends that represents a small exclusive snapshot that we believe cannot be recreated. The precious spirit drink are available in extremely limited and varying quantities. Each batch is based on how much, or rather how little, is available of the golden casks. Each batch is like a unique piece of art that can never be recreated. Each batch and each bottle are numbered. If you are ready, then let's get closer acquainted with Ahorizo Founders Reserve. The color is gold. On the nose you can get ripe tropical fruits, fermented cherries and smooth tobacco notes. And the taste, refreshing tropical fruits, stewed plums, and a touch of toasted almonds. The finish gives wonderful smooth and everlasting finish, brilliant balance between elegant sweetness and well-integrated acidity makes this a great tribute to the work of Ahorizo. Cheers and enjoy while I keep on talking. Riise and the family. Riise was a scientist, researcher, explorer, but first and foremost a family man. Nothing was more important to Riise than creating the settings for a happy dynasty and creating a sustainable foundation for future generations carrying the Riise family name. Today, the overall goal is still to nurture and respect the buds that shoot from the family tree that Albert Heinrich and his wife Henriette planted more than 200 years ago. Strong, unbreakable ties that connect us to the old family. This is proven by the fact that Ahorizo still cooperates with and supports Ahorizo and his wife's Memorial Trust, which was founded in 1903. Although none of Riise's descendants are part of the company, the ties to the family remain strong. Ahorizo XO 175 years anniversary. In 2013, 175 years had passed since Ahorizo first opened the doors to what seemed like an Aladdin's cave, the pharmacy in Charlotte Amalie. In addition to medicine, the gawping masses could buy tools, pots and pans. It was also the place to go to if you needed a new shovel or a new plowshare. But even more interestingly, you could actually also get a bottle or two of the pharmacist's own excellent rum when you went to the pharmacy for a headache remedy. In other words, this is like an anniversary blend. Like all other bottles marketed by Riise, Ahorizo XO 175 years anniversary is a small batch. You might be able to taste the tiny differences between the batches. Go ahead and try. Over the past 175 years, the world has undergone enormous change. However, the content of the bottle has been made in an attempt to capture exactly how an Ahorizo rum tasted back in the days of Ahorizo. Just like today's archaeologists are trying to guess what a house looked like in the Viking Age, based on nothing but a number of post holes in the ground. Our master blenders are also feeling their way in unfamiliar territory. We note that the rum made almost 200 years ago was on the sweet side. We can reproduce that. However, we have let the golden drops age considerably longer than back when. Basically, it is a qualified attempt to make what was previously considered an excellent drink. So what will we get from this anniversary drink? The color is light gold. In the nose, cool mint appears on top of toffee and leather, and then a hint of citrus. The taste is eucalyptus, tartan plum pie, and a hint of white tea with bergamot oil. And the finish, leather and bergamot intertwines. Cheers! While you enjoy the anniversary drink, allow me to take you down the path of history. Ahorizo first took an interest in rum and the ability to distill and blend rum when he traveled to the West Indies. At St. Croix, he stayed with the Danish pharmacist Peter Eger Benson in Christiansted. This was where Riise was introduced to the noble art of distilling, and not the least already known bay rum, a blend of fine distillates and local herbs. St. Croix was also where the sugar canes were grown, and their juice could be distilled into delicious aromatic, and health-giving rum. Riise quickly took a keen interest in distillation. A distillery still was therefore one of the first buys for the new pharmacies at St. Thomas. Ahorizo Frogman Conventus Rane. This Frogman spirits drink is a blend made by Ahorizo in collaboration with the Danish Frogman Corps. The Frogman Corps is the Danish equivalent to the American Navy SEALs, a corps of elite soldiers. The Danish Frogmen are hugely respected around the world, not least among the elite soldiers of other nations. The Danish Frogmen are the ones we send out on missions in exotic and perhaps even enemy territories. They often do so without any official recognition afterwards. But that is because their missions are often, if not always, secret. When the Frogmen end their active service, they can become members of the veteran association Conventus Rane, which means a gathering of frogs. Here they can attend to their wounds, whether physical or mental, among peers. Many need help returning to life as a civilian, while carrying the trauma they have suffered while on mission. When you buy a bottle of Frogman Conventus Rane, you support the former Frogman. This is the right thing to do, if you ask Ahorizo. A bottle of Frogman used to have an impressive alcohol volume of 58. When you enjoy it today, the alcohol volume will be no less than 60%. We made this change to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Frogman Corps. And since we think that the extra strengths made it even better, we have decided to keep it that way. The backbone of Frogman Conventus Rane is the well-known Ahorizo Royal Danish Navy, which has been tuned and geared 2 notches to reach the miraculous 60%. Never forget that alcohol, along with salt and sugar, is a flavor enhancer. The higher the alcohol volume, the stronger the taste. Let's take a closer look. The color is a golden red. Despite the high alcohol volume, it's rather a light nose, dominated by balsamic glaze and mocha with orange zest on top and a hint of toast. The alcohol is more present on the palate, but in a nice and integrated way, where the notes from the nose all reappears, as well as pineapple and coconut. The finish is very creamy with notes of dark chocolate and mocha. Cheers. While you enjoy this majestic drink, I will give you a bit of history. The Tivoli Gardens, as we know them today, appeared soon after the fortifications of Copenhagen was abolished. Tivoli Gardens used to be a part of the old fortification structure. So when you sail around the Tivoli pond today, you actually sail in the old moat. Back then, Carstensen's Garden was a great leisure spot where traders and small vaudeville theatres could set up their tents. It was therefore natural to use the garden for the Nordic Industry, Agriculture and Art exhibition in Copenhagen in 1888. Ahorizo was placed in the West Indian House right where the Demon Ride stands today. However, in 1888, people were treated to another rush than the one you now get in the Demon. Ahorizo XO Ambrador. The imposing name of the exquisite drink before you is Ahorizo's Ambrador. It's French and means golden amber. So we are back on familiar turf. The name is inspired by the almost glowing golden color that gives this wonderful drink its soul. Ambrador is a meticulously blend consisting of many different casks filled with the most delicious rum. The casks comes from the West Indies, the Caribbean, and South and Central America. Each batch, or portion if you like, is composed of different casks. The reason is quite simple. Because when a cask is empty, it'll be gone forever. Still, each batch of Ambrador must be as close to the previous batch as possible. There are bound to be minor differences. That is all part of the charm of drinking this handmade nectar. Once we have the final blend, we are by no means done. Ambrador gets its warm glow and exquisite taste after it has been aged further on casks that used to hold sweet white wines, such as Sauterne, Gewürztraminer, Baume de Venise, Pinot de Charente, or other sweet white wines. Much of the color of this wonderful drinks come from these casks. Only when the further aging is done and the final blend is complete, we will be ready for bottling and drinking. So what is it that we have before us? Well, the color is like the name, pure amber. On the nose you will notice hay, vanilla, flowers in the meadows, butter caramel and creme brulee. The taste is lemon drops, vanilla cream, and fragrant notes from the sweet wine casks, combined in a delicious union. The finish is rich and creamy, with notes from the initial taste toning out gradually. Cheers, everyone. And while you enjoy your glass, I will treat you to a small anecdote. Ahorizo's history clearly shows that the ability to distill rum and other spirits was an important part of what went on in the pharmacy on St. Thomas. On its shelves, you could find Riise's Florida water, a unisex eau de cologne. This fragrance contained bergamot oil, rose geranium oil, and other ingredients that are also used in perfumes today. Although he was miles away from home, Ahorizo never lost his love for Denmark. He added both the Danish flag and the wild men from the Danish coat of arms to the label. Today, we will have to imagine how it smelled. All we have left today is an empty bottle that is in its safe storage at Ahorizo's headquarters in Copenhagen. Santos de Mont, Palmyra. We are now about to get to know a sister, or perhaps rather a brother of Ahorizo, Santos de Mont. The two gentlemen were not related by blood, only in business. Santos de Mont is an independent brand under Ahorizo. Santos de Mont was a Brazilian, born into a rich family as the son of a wealthy plantation owner. Brazil do not only produce coffee, sugar also contributes significant to the Brazilian economy. When you drink rum in this large South American country, you drink cachaca. That is what they call alcohol distilled on molasses or sugarcane juice. If you are on the European continent, you would probably describe Santos de Mont Palmyra as being French in the style, probably because the French rum agricole is made purely out of sugarcane juice, as is Santos de Mont. However, this is where the resemblance stops, because while the French is dry, Santos de Mont is sweetened with sugarcane juice. Santos de Mont Palmyra is named after the town where Santos de Mont grew up, Palmyra. If your fingers are tapping frantically on the keyboards to find information about the Brazilian town of Palmyra, you will find little information, because the town is now called Santos de Mont, named after our friend on the bottle. A particular color dominated the houses in the town. The dusty turquoise you see on the bottleneck and the label. Sugarcane juice from Brazilian sugarcanes is at the heart of this blend. Santos de Mont Palmyra is a true cosmopolitan. The blend also includes molasses rum from both the West Indies and Central America. Palmyra is traditionally aged on bourbon cask, and it is given its finish on casks that used to contain sweet white wines. So what do we get from this Palmyra? The color is amber, no way around that. The nose is apricot, leather and sweet tobacco, with a touch of honey and rose petals. The taste is soft and gentle, with a smooth complexity. Tropical fruits and sultanas, together with deliciously sweet vinous notes. It has a light finish, with elegant integrated dry tannins combined with leather and tobacco. Cheers everyone in Santos de Mont, Palmyra. And while you enjoy this exquisite spirit drink, I will tell you a small anecdote. It's a fact that Santos de Mont is mainly known for his achievements during the early days of flying. If it flew, Santos de Mont would taste it to its limits. Whether it was an airship or one of the flying machines that in those days were considered both impressive and dangerous. Santos de Mont was a daredevil, but not reckless. He knew the importance of having both hands on the stick when flying. But he also wanted to keep track of time. However, it was impossible to have both hands solidly planted on the stick and be able to see the time on his pocket watch at the same time. He therefore asked his very good friend, the jeweler Cartier, and yes, that Cartier, to find a solution. Cartier were both smart, resourceful and forward-looking, so he quickly invented the wristwatch for his good friend. Now he could keep both hands on the stick while checking his watch at the same time, so that he would know how much airtime he had left, because the fuel indicator had not yet been invented. Ahorizo Licorice Shot. Danes are known around the world for our excellent agricultural produce, sophisticated electronics, cold beer, and so much else. Something most people notice is our unquenchable craving for licorice. From childhood and through adulthood, licorice is a familiar companion. So it was only natural for Ahorizo to treat us to a wonderful licorice shot. This multiple award-winning licorice liquor is a pleasant and seductive, no matter where you are, what time of day it is. Ahorizo's Licorice Shot will sure you get you sorted.